Terez Owens from TerezOwens.com, the king of all sports media. Terez is here on the Sports Wire. So I guess, you made a good point with Delonte West's minutes going down. And, that's a guy who I thought, could defend a Rondo. I don't know whether Mike Brown would coach his team based on, something crazy that happens like this. But then again, Mike Brown is a terrible coach. So you make a good point there. But I guess my next question is, how true do you think this is? I mean, how much validity do you think this story actually has?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. I get what's passed to me. So I just have feelings. Whether I think something could be true, I kind of go with a hunch. And sometimes, there's other ways of getting it. But this time I got this email, and I just kind of went over it a little bit. And I was like, it was a close source from, because we know some people around the arenas. And we just had a hunch, so we threw it up. And we'll see, man. Like you said, it could be make or break. But there's a lot of sites out there that run a ton of stories, and if you've looked at my site, we usually don't put up anything fake. So we'll see what turns out of it.
Well, I believe you, Terez. You're a good man, and you're good for coming back on. It's been way too long since you've been on, and you know what? It's just a coincidence that you happen to be scheduled for today, but I'm happy that it wasn't tomorrow or yesterday, but it is today, the day that you post up this story, where, let me ask you the next thing. You search Delonte West and LeBron online on Google. First thing that comes up is a Deadspin post that says that it's ridiculous. They do link your site, but they call you an internet varmint. What do you make of that, and how do you take that personally in terms of your site?
You know what? I actually wrote them over an email because we had contacted them about this. We've worked with them sometimes. Our stuff has been on their site, and I understand the game. You got to communicate with the powerhouses. Deadspin is a powerhouse. So I felt like we were the ones that gave it to them. You know what I'm saying? Like from the email, like they had known, and then they kind of threw us under the bus saying, a bunch of NBA employees got this email. Like they were almost stomping on whatever the story was going to make, or just, act like it wasn't whatever. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's hate. Who knows? Hate's not a bad thing, right?
Yeah, man. And we're talking to Terez Owens from TerezOwens.com here on the Sports Wire. Max, Caster, Matt Soldano until 7 here in New York. Once again, Terez, the guy and the site that broke the rumor about Delonte West possibly sleeping with LeBron James' mother, whether that had anything to do with the games 4, 5, and 6, the chemistry between the Cavaliers and why they fell off so dramatically at the end of the Boston series, which actually, getting into basketball, that kind of makes me upset because I was happy that Boston won. I picked Boston in, I think, 6 or 7 games, but, Rondo is playing awesome. I don't want it to be that, these guys were just upset with each other that Boston was playing well. So how much do you think of it was, possibly something like this happening, or even just LeBron James, checking out mentally and thinking towards the summer, and how much do you think it was, Boston playing well?
Okay, I mean, think about this. If he leaves now, I mean, he's from Akron, right? So say at the end of the day, like, that's his hometown. If he leaves now, like, and even checks out like that, I mean, I think it was, you got to admit, the Celtics, they got, they could have 4, Hall of Famers. They got a great team, and they could shut them down. But I've personally never seen LeBron James like that. You know what I mean? Like, he looked like he was neutered, like someone had grabbed his nuts and just taken them from him. He just didn't have that fiery LeBron James. Like, you didn't see those dunks. You didn't see nothing. Like, he was, like, throwing up hook shots and stuff like he was 6'2", It was weird.
It was easily one of the strangest things I've ever seen on the court. And this is coming from a Knicks fan and myself who wants LeBron next year. And, I'm having questions about his drive, his elbow, even if that's going to be a huge problem. So I'm wondering whether or not I should, push for LeBron still, or maybe turn my sights elsewhere. But, it's just a crazy story that you put up. And like I said, I'm not going to say that it's true. I know you're not going to say that it's true 100%. I know it's just a source, but your sources usually come through, and I trust you. And I give you all the credit in the world for being the only guy and the guy with guts enough to post up this story and to start this buzz.
I appreciate it, man. You're the first, you know what I'm saying, the first radio show that came at us, and you did my first interview, actually. So I appreciate it, and thanks for being a fan and checking out the site and everything else. It's pretty cool. But, come on, man, how are you going to say you're questioning LeBron James to the Knicks? How can you say questioning LeBron James? Of course you would take LeBron James.
I take LeBron James if he had scoliosis, the flu, and hammer toe. But you know what? If the guy is, on the last day of his contract and he's thinking about what he's going to do in the summer, if he's going to, go chill with Jay-Z and make a rap record or, do whatever he wants to do, chill with the Nets owner, Mikhail Prokhorov, and do flips on jet skis, that's just concerning to me that, whether it's because of Delonte West and his mom or whether it's because of his elbow, it's just something for me to think about. But you're right. You're 100% right. I take LeBron James on any day of the week, Terez.
And then if I can hop in here real quick, I just think, he signs with another team. He's coming back with a vengeance, I think. Because let's say this is true. He's going to want to spite a lot of people in that Cleveland organization. And, if they believe that he sort of tanked it in the last 3 games or so, I think he's coming back more motivated than ever. A, because he's going to want to win a championship and finally quiet the haters, kind of like what Kobe had to do without Shaq. And then number 2, with all this going on, if this eventually becomes even bigger than, on day 1 than it is right now, after it was originally posted, this story, I think it's just more fuel to the fire for LeBron.
Yeah, you know what? To me, it's just crazy because I don't think he could leave. I'm not sure he could leave. I'm just saying I don't think he would purposely do that and leave Cleveland, you know what I mean, like the way he did. And so if he goes, it's kind of like, his legacy was kind of on the line. But, there's a lot of years, but those were kind of legacy games. And it just didn't look like, there was something, whether it was the elbow or whatever it was, there was something clearly wrong. Because he didn't look like the guy I watched all year. And I have my Laker tickets, so trust me, I was hoping for Kobe and LeBron because it makes my tickets go up. You know what I mean?
We're talking to Terez Owens from TerezOwens.com. It's Max Caster and Matt Soldano on the Sports Wire. And once again, if you missed it, I got to reiterate this as much as possible. Terez Owens, the man and the site who broke the rumor about about LeBron James and Delonte West possibly sleeping with his mom. I know Terez not trying to get involved with that physically, but that'd just be gross. By the way, Delonte West is an NBA player. He can do a lot better than LeBron James's mom, Terez.
Yeah, he's got money, but then again, look at Delonte West. So I don't know. I'm not. You never know. People, come on. We've all drank a lot of alcohol before and gotten crazy, right? You never know what happens sometimes.
I suppose so, although I'll never repeat it on the air. It's via sources, that's what I'll say. But definitely the rumor that you broke, or the story that you broke, I really don't know what to call it at this point, about Delonte West and LeBron James' mom possibly being the reason for the collapse in Game 4, 5, and 6 for the Cavaliers. It's gonna be an interesting summer. So you know what? Have a good night, Terez. I hope that you find some more solid, concrete truth in this story. And thank you for coming on so much. We'll definitely be in contact with you again.
No problem, man. And you guys check out TerezOwens.com, and we're starting this summer off with a bang. So here we go.
That's how you got to do it. Terez Owens from the esteemed TerezOwens.com.